Yo, what's up, family? I'm early. Yeah, I always like being early, man. Give me enough chance to get everything set up, and I hope I could pick up a couple of people. You know what I mean? I would love to hear what a couple of you guys have to say about whatever. So that'll give me time to start getting set up for Instagram as well. Yeah, listen to some nice, smooth music along the way. What is going to be the topic today? I don't know, but whatever it's going to be, we're going to make the best of it, right? And knowing me, if ain't nobody going to be conversing too much with me, I'm probably going to talk about a lot of political stuff that's been going on recently. So, hey, could be that. You know what I mean? So, what you guys see me doing while I'm looking up, I am setting up my live for Instagram. Okay. So, it's going to be back and forth. All right. Let's see here. What's up, fam? Yeah, Instagram, YouTube. What's happening? I know I'm a bit early. I did that on purpose. That was intentional. The reason why I chose to be early is because I figure I had some setting up to do. So, in the meantime, we're going to try to see if we can pick up a couple of people. And if we do, then we can go ahead and start talking about whatever. Now, um, you guys might want to talk about, but relationships is always a good topic, always. So I think that's what I'm going to do. All right. But in the meantime, we're going to sit back, listen to this nice, smooth music. And remember, y'all, I don't own the rights to this music. Yeah. This is music that I've tapped into on YouTube, right? And this particular one, I think, is Soul Vibe. And they got an array of songs. I love sitting back and listening to some really tight music, kind of put your mind in a good space sometimes. Whatever space you want your mind to be, you can find it in music. Depends on where you decide to go look for it. You know what I mean? Now, it's going to look different. It's going to look odd because I have this camera down here looking kind of straight at me or a little bit up. And I got this camera up here looking a little bit down. So you guys are going to see me looking down and up at the same time. So that's cool. But what's happening, family? Instagram and YouTube family, what's happening? How you guys been doing? How's life? There's a lot of things that we have to start being mindful of. Y'all know me. I try to be a positive soul. I'm always trying to be feeding some negative. Well, not feeding negative. Why did I say that? I don't know. I'm not trying to feed negative. I'm trying to actually, you know, do what I can to get rid of the negative. But there's a lot of things. I have negative thoughts as well. That's probably why I even said it like that. I have negative thoughts as well. And when I get angry about something, of course, the negative thoughts come out. Sometimes I can regulate it, and then sometimes it just slips right on out, right? But for the most part, it's practice, you know. And we all need to literally look at ourselves in the mirror, not in a vain way, not looking at ourselves like, oh, we're such beautiful. I mean, yes, we have to be proud. Let me be careful of what I'm saying because I don't want nobody to misunderstand me. Um, you have to be proud of who you are. There's no doubt. But being vain, like as if you're the best thing ever, more than anyone else, that's what you got to be careful about. Regardless on how much you have been blessed, if you've been blessed with good looks, with money, with just intelligence, you never look down on other people. And of course, sometimes for a lot of people, that's hard to do. It's hard to not. For some people, I'm saying, not for everybody. We have to stay grounded. And I wonder, how do you guys stay grounded? You know what I mean? How do you stay grounded to be to be a humble person in this so-called hustle and bustle of survival and success. How do you stay humble? You know, and it's interesting because a lot of people will have different points of view. So yeah, it is not quite 5 o'clock yet. I'm just kind of rambling on right now, which I'm probably going to be doing. But yeah, and you know what's good though? This is what's good. It's good that you can carve out a place. Everybody has to have a place they can sit back and be like, oh yeah, man. You know, this is just chill, man. Just relax, not worry about nothing. No matter how hard and rigorous your day was, don't worry. Don't don't harbor whatever that day brought to you while you were dealing with the hustle and bustle. You got to find that place. It doesn't always mean that you got to sip on some drinks and some smokes or smoking on something or you know getting high in any type of way. I mean, no, just you laid back naturally and just letting all the frustrations loose. Maybe you like working out. Now, Instagram, that's all I see. There's a lot of people working out. Maybe because that's the friends that I've chosen, you know, and they love themselves on Instagram. And YouTube is the same thing. People love themselves, just like me. I love myself, you know what I mean? But one thing I do is try to stay grounded. I really try to stay grounded. I don't want to think that I'm better than anybody in any type way because I just don't believe that that is a safe place to be in your mind, you know? So, yeah. To each his own, I guess everybody would say. To each his own. You do it your way, I do it mine. Yeah, that's absolutely 100. You're absolutely right. If you think that way, you know? I'm hearing a whole lot of static right now. I don't know if y'all hear it. I hope not. But yeah, I'm gonna try to. We got 2 more minutes really. So like I said, I'm early, and you know what we're doing right now, just basically having a conversation. This is my first live at 5 for YouTube and Instagram at the same time. No, I think I did it before. I did it before, but I think it was me playing around with music or whatever, trying to sing and all that type of stuff. Okay. So something happened. Oh, there you go. All right. My live at 5 on Instagram paused for a quick second, but it came back. But yeah, family. So just waiting on a couple people. I'm trying to get some people up in here to talk to. Yeah. Always trying to talk to somebody about something, dag nabbit. I got something to say, man. You know what I mean? And if not, I'm gonna wind up just telling one of my stories, man. Yeah. So basically, this situation that we're in, when I say we, let me start with this. Being it's like 5 o'clock now. So let me start with this. Brothers and sisters, and the lovers of my brothers and sisters, we are gonna have to step it up and try our absolute best to talk to as many of our people as possible. As far as loving each other, we have to start getting more on the love each other than hating each other. That is a problem, and it's a problem for anybody, but it's mainly a problem for us considering that, you know, we have never been given a fair shake in this country. And in order for us to get a fair shake, we have to learn how to be working more as a loving unit, not always thinking of hurting each other or being jealous and angry at each other for the smallest things. So, y'all should have known that my conversation would consist of that because I have no one to literally share that with right at this moment. So, therefore, that is the topic that I chose because that is deep in my heart. what is been embedded in me over the years since I was a little boy is to love and care for my brothers and sisters. Maybe it's because I didn't grow up with brothers and sisters, and I look at others who have brothers and sisters, and I say, "Wow, man, they got it made." You know what I mean? They got it made, and then they would in turn say, "No, not really. If you got a whole bunch of brothers and a whole bunch of sisters, you got to fight for everything." You know, but yeah, I get it. You had to fight, but you wasn't alone. You know what I mean? You was always with somebody. And I think people who are single, like they're the only child in the family growing up, they always wish they had other siblings. And then people with a lot of siblings wish that they were only the only child. So it's weird how that works. Yeah. And for me, it's always been like that. Even though I have a sister, but we didn't grow up together. Some of you who know me know my story when it comes to that. But yeah, I had some pretty good conversations though with a couple of friends of mine, and I love talking to these family members, these friends, because I just watched them grow over the years. They have we, especially if I go way back into the 70s, because I'm an old guy, right? So I can go way back in the 70s and think about my youth and how me and my friends used to rip and run compared to how they rip and run today. It's definitely different. They did not have the social media, right? They didn't have these platforms back then. And GPSs, they didn't have the GPSs. They did they have drive-throughs? I think they were just breaking into drive-throughs in the 70s, like at McDonald's on the side of the building. Was it later on? But I know I don't remember too many drive-throughs. So some of y'all correct me if I'm wrong on that, but absolutely. When I think back and compare the times of back then versus now, I'm shaking my head a lot because there's a lot of things that I see today that was actually being done back then, in a slightly different way. But it end up the same way. Because now you have this AI thing, artificial intelligence, and it's right at our hand, right at our fingers. And I'm using it right now. And then you got Siri, and you got Alexa, and you got all those other AI components, and now even our TVs, for that matter. Some people can talk to their TV and command the TV to do particular things. Ask the TV questions, it can tell you, what's going on. Tell you what channel. You can ask what channel and everything. They have a lot of what's going on. And back then, they had none of that stuff. And when we were little, like teenagers or whatever, we used to think, wow, how would life be in the year 2020, 2021? And wow, we thought that it would be flying cars, even though they're getting very close to flying vehicles. I mean, other than airplanes and helicopters, I'm talking about traveling vehicles, cars and motorcycles. They got backpacks. I watched one today. These jet backpacks that the guy can literally just go fly off. And that's going to be a military thing, I believe. That's going to be something they're going to use in the military. There's a lot of things, and stuff like UFOs and stuff. You guys don't believe in UFOs, do you? I don't. I believe that the things that we see that we claim to be UFOs are unidentified flying objects to us. But I believe that the government is doing a lot of testing with things, and they have to test it somewhere. And I think that when they are spotted being tested and they have a different shape, we're fast to claim it to be, UFOs, right? Martians came out of space. I don't know. I think if God intended it to be that we come in contact with uh, another life form other than Earth and human beings the way we know human beings, then we probably would have already, or that maybe God has it like, that we'll never ever know that. We just never know. We'll always speculate and guess and wonder and come up with all these fantastic stories about, you know, Martians coming to visit us and all these things and monsters and all that. We always have to have an enemy, it seemed like. America, the people in America always had to have something to scare them. You know, that's and if you look at how they make movies, it's the same thing. Always like Friday the 13th, always looking to be scared out of your wit when you watch it. The Exorcist, y'all remember that one? Be scared out of your wits, boy. It's just so much fun to be scared. They have haunted houses, and that's why stuff like Halloween is such a big thing here, because people love to be scared. You know what I mean? It's so fun, right? I don't like being scared. It ain't that fun to me. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. So anyway, okay. So here we are, 7 minutes in. All right. So we might pick up somebody. If not, I'm going to go straight into a true story, that I have experienced in my time coming up. You know what I mean? Now, let's talk about, let me go back in time when I was a young person, and let's talk about relationships and how I, for the most part, I can only speak for me and my experiences. So relationships have been like from being a young man without a father growing up, trying to figure out how to maneuver a relationship with a female that I like. Now that was very interesting and frustrating all at the same time, because I didn't know how to be. All I knew was to be me, and me was a goofy young boy, tall, dark skin, a lot of hair on my head. They say I was handsome when I was young. I like to say, yeah, I was. So, but and I had to kind of maneuver with the information from my peers, and they don't have it together either. And we would try these different things and different ways to talk. I know it was one friend who was a smooth talker, and he was telling me, you have to capture their mind first, brother, before you can do anything else, go any further. Home base, is capturing their mind, and then you can go to all the bases after you got their mind. So I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me. And I called myself trying to rap. Back then, rapping to a girl was not what you hear. What's up, young brother? It wasn't all that, right? It was trying to be smooth when you talk to a girl, and the approach meant a lot too, and how you looked. You know what I mean? Even today, it's the same thing as far as how you look and how you're. Well, I beg to differ about the approach that some of these young people are using to approach females. Like, yo, babe, come here, or yo, or hey, I don't know how they do it these days, but I still believe that being respectful to a female, it gets you a long way as well. So me, I would say, excuse me. That's how I've always learned, because I just couldn't bring it to, it wasn't in me to be super aggressive right off the bat when you're trying to meet one, meet a female. So back then, I guess we were all trying to swap information on how to meet girls and where to meet girls and how you should look and what kind of activities you should be in to meet them. So yeah, it was interesting. And me being a only child growing up, because I didn't grow up with my sister, so I was basically an only child, and I didn't know I was cool being by myself, and I didn't know how to you know mingle and make friends. I just went out and just I was myself, and if I happened to have a friend who understood or was just cool with me, then that's what it was, you know. And I seem to have cherished my friends too, So as a young man, me meeting girls was was a task in itself when I started becoming interested in girls, because I wasn't interested in girls for until I was like in my 17 years old, and these days you got young people that are like 10, 11 interested in girls. And me back then, I was just interested in playing, just living life, playing, being goofy. That was all there was with me. And so that's pretty much how I started to realize that I had to devise a plan, a plan of action. I had to know how to approach them, females. You had to know how to speak to them. You had to be kind to them. This is all my own thoughts. My other friends wasn't quite the same way. I had to be a little slightly different than them. I just thought that, being nice, I think I was always taught to be nice to females anyway. So that was, and then I remember my first girlfriend. My first girlfriend was, Maria. Yeah, I guess I can comfortably say that she was my girlfriend. And we we didn't do an awful lot together, but I think we were just both two goofy people, and we kind of had fun that way. But like today's standards, let's talk about today's standards as far as relationships. Um, there's I don't know if people are confused. If people are confused about how they should respond or treat a female, but from what I'm seeing, I'm not 100% happy with a lot of how guys, young people, are treating the young females. And then it has a lot to do with the young females, that how they portray themselves. See, that's another thing. That's another thing that it goes both ways. If you're gonna be, if you want to be respected, and it goes for male and female. If you want to be respected, you have to conduct yourself in a respective way, in a respected way. And if you, whatever you put out there is what you'll get. Whatever you put out there, even if you come out there acting hard, there's a lot of women that love roughneck guys, thugs, they call them. They love those type of guys. And these young boys are getting confirmation to be thugs, because there are girls who would only be involved with a so-called thug. But the thug will bring a lot of drama, possibly so much to a point that even if the thug is not there with you, that whatever he has done out in those roads or out in those streets, it can bring attention to you. So that's why these young females have to really think about all this. Yeah, it's exciting because they're all about out there being in the street getting money, but they live in a rough way. And by living that way brings danger to the family. That's a fact. And we've already seen it. And that's why we have so much conflict amongst ourselves with our young generation. That's something we have to really look at. And it starts at home. I always talked about that. It starts in the home. It's how you if you're being respectful around your baby growing up, and you try to minimize the fighting and the arguing and the cussing and the drinking and the smoking and the getting high and the parties all in the house and staying up all times of night and not respecting your neighbors and not respect, all those things resonate to the child growing up. The child is a product of its environment. And we see these young people today conducting themselves in these so-called relationships, and the relationships is not healthy. Now, I seen one, I think the boy had to be in his 20s and the girl had to be in her 20s, but she was pregnant. And the young boy seemed like a happy soul, but he was I think I seen it on Instagram, and he was videotaping him playing the game, and his girlfriend was in the background just taking swats at him, hitting him, and cussing each other, and the babies are right there in the room. So they were really being, oh man, very nasty. Well, she was being extremely nasty to him. Like she was just trying to beat him up, and he didn't fight back. He continued to play his game, but he wanted to videotape everything that was going on. So I'm like, wow, that's a toxic relationship. I remember being in a toxic relationship. Now, a lot of people would say, why do we look at it? How did it become a toxic relationship? You see what I'm saying? How did it become toxic? Is it all on the person that is acting angry? Maybe. Or is it something that person did that caused the anger to flare in that other person, that now, we are trying to, like, okay, you see how they're acting? Capture it on video. We don't know what that other person did. But here's the thing. Regardless on what that other person did, before it becomes that toxic and violent, the best thing to do is separate yourself from it. Time heals a lot of things. If you separate yourself from a toxic relationship, things are going to happen within your mind, and you're going to say, do you really love this person enough to change the toxic atmosphere for the sake of the relationship and the family, if you have a family? So yeah, these things are very important. And young people seem like they don't really want to sit down and take the time to think that far into it. It's almost like the spur of the moment is what they react on. When something happens, they got to respond to it like real quick. And sometimes you do, just to keep yourself safe. Sometimes you do have to respond to things that happen like at the blink of an eye. But you have to make sure that it's regulated. You can't just respond in a hardcore way that can cause bodily injury and making the relationship more toxic than what it is. There's certain ways that you can back down out of it. Now, if it's a violent person that you're dealing with, all right, here it is, because a lot of females are like, they're scared of the person that they're involved with, because they know that they'll flip out and probably hurt them if he knew that they were trying to leave and sometimes even for a guy, but for a female, the best advice I would be able to give you if you're in a toxic relationship is to keep your mouth shut. And soon as you see your opening, get gone. If you have kids, make sure your kids are with you. But you have to jump out on a limb and get out that toxic relationship before something bad happens. And that is something that we hear about an awful lot. But you have to set it up. You have to be smart about your move, because a violent man will be violent with mainly any female and almost every female. Because if they grew up around violence, then they're going to probably be a violent person. So that would be my advice to anybody who's in a toxic relationship, even for the guys. You don't have to, if you live in there with the individual and you're saying to the person it's not going to work, then now you got to watch your back inside the home. So, Relationships it is something that we humans have to adjust to. You know, we have to adjust to the different personalities that we're dealing with. You know, and I've been in my share of relationships and some toxic ones at that. And I had to figure out, how am I going to deal with this the best way? And that's probably why I'm in the position I'm in now, because I haven't been I haven't been trusting 100% of the person that I figure that I would be with for the rest of my life. And then when that lack of trust happens, even though your heart is attached to it, you know, it has to be something to prove and show that they are a changed individual. There's got to be some solid evidence. If it's not solid, then you could be possibly facing the same situation again. So that's basically as far as I'm going to go with this, because I'm not really grabbing anybody at this point. But anybody, just know my next one, because this will be repeated, I'm pretty sure. So the next live at 5 is going to be YouTube and Facebook. Okay. And I think on my next one, I might just want to talk about some political stuff. Maybe. It depends. So let's see. Let's see the vibe, because I let the music pretty much guide the way that I feel. So if I'm feeling political, I'm probably going to talk political. If I feel like I want to just give a message, then that vibe. I don't own the rights to this music, but that music does an awful lot for me. You know, it's a healing thing for me as well. So yeah, I mean, even when I'm in a good relationship, and we can sit back and play some music and really be at peace with each other because of the music. And yeah, I mean, of course, we care for each other and all, but it's just that something special about listening to that music. Especially if it's the right type. And I've been finding a lot of good music with this YouTube thing. So I'm just saying, I'm a music man. I love music, and I think music is the key to a lot of things. Matter of fact, it's universal at that. You don't have to really speak like you guys been listening to a lot of instrumental. That's instrumental music. And that particular music, anybody, you don't even have to speak the same language, can grind, can groove and vibe to that particular music. That's just the way it is. It don't matter where you come from. It don't matter who you are. It don't matter what language you speak. But that music, you gotta let it grab you deep in your heart. It triggers your mind. It takes your mind way back sometimes. Or it takes it way forward. Like thinking of the future and the possibilities. Depend on where that music puts you, put your mood. Once you get that mood, then you can settle in to what that music is really meaning to you at that moment. Yeah. That's what music does for me. You know what I mean? So, all right, I guess I done gabbed enough, family. But this is what I would do. Matter of fact, I got a few more minutes, so we're just gonna make it a solid half hour. I started a little early, so it's gonna seem like a bit earlier. But yeah, I just think that for the most part, for everybody who are dealing with relationships, if you have a great relationship and it's been like years and years in the same relationship with the same person, then you guys already figured it out. You figured it out. You figured it out, because no two people are literally like never have any disagreements. I don't believe that. And if I'm wrong about that, by all means, somebody point it out to me. But it seemed like every relationship I've ever had has always been a difference. And I think looking for the perfect person is like, I don't think that ever is gonna happen. I don't think anybody's gonna find the perfect person. You know what I mean? Maybe they may begin to seem like they're perfect, but then down the road you get to see the real individual. And then now, once you see that real individual, you have to put in perspective, can you cope with that? Is there things about that person, that imperfectness about that person, can you literally deal with? And if you feel as if there's just some things you just can't deal with, then you do what it is you have to do, you know. But for me, I had to learn this over time, of course. And I give a lot of credit. I give a lot of credit to people who have been in very long-term relationships. You know, I mean, I ain't gonna sit up here and say I don't know how you do it. I know how you do it. And it's just a matter of you're less shallow than I am. Phew, that's hard. That's hard to me. I mean, I'm being real though. I guess I'm somewhat of a shallow guy because I've been in some pretty solid relationships and I didn't let it last for whatever personal reasons that I had, you know. And I wouldn't put the blame totally on the person that I felt like I couldn't be with, but I would just put it on me and me still this so-called work in progress. You know what I mean? Going through all that. And it is what it is. And basically, I think the best advice to give anybody, first off, am I in a good position? Am I in any position to give anybody advice on a relationship? And I would say, yeah. Why I would say, yeah? They say, well, shoot, you ain't even with nobody. What kind of advice can you give me? Well, the advice that I can give a person is don't do some of the things that I've done. You did? To mess up your relationship. Aha. You see what I'm saying? So that's something you can't never say, well, of course. There's some things that I guess I've had many relationships. I had some good ones, I had some bad ones, But my best advice, comparing it all, is to make sure that you have to adjust to things that you are not accustomed to sometimes. That's important as well. If you're not accustomed to it, you have to still learn how to adjust. And you have to, allow yourself to love unconditionally, a lot of people say. And I think I got it. I think I got it, I hope I got it, y'all. Anyway, where we at? Okay, we got 2 more minutes, so I'm gonna start signing off here. All right, this was my first Live at 5 for 2022. Okay, and my next one is gonna be Thursday. Did I say? Because tomorrow's Wednesday, so Thursday, family. If you didn't catch this one, try to catch the next one. Right? I would love to hear what some of you have to say on some of the topics that I bring up. And I got a character that I'll be bringing out, hopefully, if everybody give me the okay on it. And even if you don't, I'm going to do it anyway. Maybe. It depends on how I feel. See what kind of music drives me on that one. But yeah. But for the most part, y'all, love, 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 love. We got to really start thinking more of spreading and actually not just talking love. We have to show that we love each other. We should practice. A challenge should be for us as people who claim to be God-fearing, or even if you don't believe in God, but you believe in love, to practice every day to tell somebody, not just your very close friends, not just your family, just to say to them, I got love for you. I love you, bro. I love you, sister. It might be a stranger that you just meet. I don't mean to say I love you. I don't mean, just we all know how to talk to people. Just basically let them know, or just God bless them. God bless you, brother. God bless you, sister. One love. You know what I mean? We have to start doing that more. And then let's try not to start calling us all these derogatory names. We got to back off of them names because everybody sees us doing that. They hear us doing that to each other. And of course, they think it's okay that if they're going to disrespect themselves, then they shouldn't have a problem with me disrespecting them because they're they'll accept me as one of them. No, it's not like that, and it should never be like that. So yeah, I'm gonna always be arguing that point. All right. So on that note, y'all, I'm going to shut it down, and I get to do it on the two platforms here at the same time, and that is treat people like you want to be treated, and I promise you, it'll come back round because it has for me. One love, family. I love each and every one of y'all, even if you didn't check out my first one. Y'all check it out later, right? Let me see if I can stop the stream at the same time. I'm trying to set it up down here, and I'm about to hit this button up here at the same time. All right, family, one love, and I'm gonna catch you on Thursday, live at 5 Thursday. Check me out. All right, peace and love. Did I get it?